Hello everyone, this is Sriram from 2068B Robotics, and today I'm going to show you how to set up Pros in Visual Studio Code. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to Visual Studio Code and just search it up on Google in your browser. And you go to Downloads and you download it on whichever operating system you're on. And after you do, you just want to open up Visual Studio Code. And now you're going to want to go to Extensions and search for Pros. So you install the first one, and this might take some time, but usually it's pretty quick. And after you do, you're going to want to click the pros icon over here on the sidebar. And it's going to say, do you want to install the pros CLI and claimed? And you're going to want to click install on both of these. And this usually takes a pretty long time, but basically this allows you to use pros on your computer, on your Visual Studio Code end. And yeah, so while we're doing this, we can also set up download easy template, which is a very useful template if you're like just getting into programming with Vex. So basically, you go and search up download easy template on Google, open the first link, click here, click the zip just as I have done, and then you show this in the folder and you get this file and then you extract it however you want. And yes, so after this is open, you get a file here. And we're going to want to open this with Visual Studio Code by doing File, Open Folder, and going to Downloads and Example Project. And you just select this folder and trust the authors, and you click src and main.cpp. You can now what we're going to do is click Pros and Integrated Terminal. And then we're going to run this command pros build compile commands. And what this is going to do is basically build the project to make sure there are no errors. And if you download it the same way I have, there shouldn't be any. And yes, so after this is done, now you can start programming. In Easy Template, it actually creates all the chassis code for you. So all you have to do is, let's say you're using 4-motor drive, all you have to do is put in the ports, like 1, 2, 3, and 4. And yeah, so basically, if you download this code onto your robot, this will have tank drive set up for you, and it'll also use like an input curve so that you can better control small movements on the joystick. And what you would do to upload this to your brain is pros mu. And this is basically like saying pros make and upload, which basically builds your file to make sure there are no errors and then uploads it. Right now I don't have this plugged in, but if it were plugged in, it would download it. And if you wanted to choose which port it was on, you can click project.pros on the sidebar over here and change which slot you want it to be and the name and the description. You can even change this icon over here to whatever you like. And you can tell it if you want it to run the program or not after you upload the thing. So, and you also want to save it afterwards. And there are also autons.cpp over here in the src file. This will allow you to tune the PID constants and also create autonomous functions. And these are also some example ones that are like pre-built into there to see if yours works with the pre-built constants. And Easy Template also has a built-in auton selector that you can use with the Limu that the brain has. And you can like use the buttons on the brain to choose which one you want to run. And once you start auton, it'll run the program that you chose. So yeah, and I'll show some simple functions on how to make, let's just say, an intake work. So first what we're going to want to do is type pros motor intake, and let's just say, I don't know, port 8. And this basically just creates a motor called intake, and it'll set the port as 8. And if you want to, let's say, control it in driver control, you can put an if statement, if controller master dot get digital new press rows controller digital L1 or something. You can choose whichever controls you like by changing this part. You can change this to A or B or L1, R1, anything you like. And then over here, you would put intake equals 127. Basically, what this does is set the intake to full speed. Pros has a input where it goes from negative 127 to 127. I'm not exactly sure why, but those are the numbers that it uses. And if you want it to go backwards, you can say if you press L2, it'll go with negative 127, and otherwise intake will be at 0, which means it's not spinning. So now we have intake, outtake, and 0 with these buttons. And that's basically how you can control an intake in Pros. If you want to learn how to use more functions in Pros, you can go to the Pros API, which was made by the Pros developers, and it is an excellent API that can explain a lot of functions. Like if we go to the API home, go to C++, don't use the C ones because we're using C++. You go to motors, C++ API, it'll show you all the function and how to use them, even examples. Let's say if we wanted to get the velocity of the motor, we can click example and this will show you exactly how to do it. All you have to do is put the motor name and dot get actual velocity afterwards, and you can print it onto either your console. If you use Pros Terminal here, we actually already have the Pros terminal made, but if it was plugged into the brain, you can actually print things back into this terminal and see what the program is printing, which can be useful for debugging and seeing where your program is breaking or something like that. So yeah, this is basically like a few minutes tutorial on how to, let's say, make and use Pros. If you have any questions, you can always ask in the comments, and I also will put my Discord username in the description if you want to DM me. I'm on the Vex server, which I might also link down there so you can join it. It is also a great resource if you want to ask software questions or if something isn't working. Sometimes when you first set up Pros, there are like some errors that come, and there are like many different solutions to those. If you do get one, please post it in the server, and I try to respond and get back to you as soon as possible. And yeah, so thank you for watching.